Welcome everyone to Nikki Loves Books. Nikki here, and today we do have our next Baddies book box to unbox together. So there was some confusion with this box. There was some problems in the warehouse, so it's slightly different than what they planned, and we will get into that. So as a reminder, Baddies book box is a monthly box that has 2 books, and specifically it's dark romance. This is why I get this box. Are their designs, their special editions, my favorite in the world? Absolutely not. They have nothing compared to Owl Crate and Bookish Box, which tend to be my favorite special editions. However, they do independent authors. These are authors that don't have a publishing company behind them with a lot of money to advertise them, so on and so forth, to help them along on their author journey and to get their book out there. So I love the fact that they do independent authors. Oftentimes these might end up being books or authors that I'm never gonna know about outside of this box. And some of these books, the only other option to read them is on Kindle. So some of these books don't even have a physical copy outside of the Baddies book box. And while I wish I could get onto the digital reading, I've tried. I don't care for it. So I'm lucky enough to be able to continue my Baddies book box now that my boyfriend has taken over my subscriptions, because I'm dealing with a lot of medical debt and veterinarian bills with my cat. I do also want to acknowledge that I know it's off-putting that I'm doing a GoFundMe, and I am so sorry. I do realize that when I did my GoFundMe YouTube video, I did lose the most subscribers I ever have from a video. We're all struggling right now. We're all in survival mode, which is why we're here talking about books. Everything just seems really scary and just super stressful, and it's like, how the fuck are we even affording food right now? So please know that I acknowledge that, and do not feel like you are indebted to help. Just know that even sharing on social media or subscribing to my channel does help me. My channel is not monetized. If I can get there, that can be an additional income for my medical bills, and especially for Kirby's vet bills. But again, no harm, no foul. Please don't even stress it. Someone mentioned the volume wasn't as good with me using this. Those of you who have been here for a while with me, if you guys remember like a year ago in one of my videos, I told you guys that my phone just like kaput on me. Like literally it just went black screen of death. I could not turn it on. So then I ended up using an old phone, like really old phone. I finally got a new phone like a couple months later. And when I got the new phone, I was like, oh, I'll be fancy and get those mics. And so I got this, and someone said that it wasn't that great of sound quality. And so I'm now trying this video without the mic. I'm hoping it is better. I do realize that a lot of influencers that I've seen use this mic talk into it, and I don't have that luxury. I talk with my hands a lot, so I'm doing it already. So I have a feeling like if I tried to just hold the mic, I wouldn't be able to do it, and I'd probably end up just like flinging it by accident. So not going to be doing it that way. I'm hoping the sound quality is better, and I do hope to eventually, when I can afford it. My birthday is next month, so maybe with gift cards or whatever I get, maybe I can get a new microphone that's better than these. I was really hoping that this could be it, but I don't have it in me to just stand here and talk to you guys like this. Plus, I want to show you the damn books. Anyways, please let me know if the sound quality is better. I'm hoping it is. However, I will give this damn thing credit that it did a really good job of taking care of the background noises. Kind of figured some of us, especially those with us with cats, it wasn't great in my videos when you could hear Nutmeg just crying in the background when she decides that she wants to play fetch with me. Anyways, let us get into our box, because that's what we're here for. And I'm going to talk about the confusion. From an email that I received from them, there was a little bit of a switcheroo. So just so you know, Baddies Book Box does announce beforehand what books they're doing, which is also appreciated. However, they don't have a skip policy. You have to cancel to be able to skip a month and then get on the wait list if you want to come back. Yeah, I don't like that part of it. So what was the switcheroo? So this is the February 2026 Baddies Book Box. It is March. They were behind, but only by a few weeks. A lot better than like Bookish Box, who was behind for months, for years. So they were slightly behind. This is the February Baddies Book Box, but instead of the February books. It's one of the books for February as planned. The other book is actually the book for the April 2026 Baddies book box. So we got one book sooner than expected. The second February book is now going to ship with one of the March books. And then one of the March books is delayed. So the delayed March book is now going to ship with the other April book for the April Baddies book box. So I'm just like, it's just kind of getting shuffled around. But whatever. We got a box. We got books. I'm excited. Okay, I just opened the box and Baddies just kind of gave me an ew. We'll talk about that. I will tell you what the ill kind of reaction was. But let's talk about one of our books first, because this also kind of gave me a from them, because I don't like that they do this. So our first book in our February 2026 Baddies book box is Make Me Fall by Riley Nash. We do have a very nice looking butt here, but that's not our focus right this second. We're going to talk about this book. You can't fly without falling, so close your eyes and let go. People ask me if I'm human, if I have feelings, if I've ever loved anyone. I'm the lawyer who has never lost a case because I have nothing else to live for. And tell Jonah. He's my complete opposite, a reckless boy 12 years younger than me, made of sunshine and wicked smiles, pure and breathtaking. It all starts with a secret. He wants to find out if he's bi, and he begs me to teach him because we'll never see each other again. Until he shows up on my doorstep with nowhere else to go. I can't draw lines faster than we blur them. He's the unstoppable force. I'm the immovable object. When we collide, things get filthy, complicated, more beautiful than I could ever imagined. He's the only person ever to learn the truth. I've always been human. I've always had feelings. I've been so afraid to lose. Because the moment we find enough trust to jump is the moment we realize our wings might be too broken to fly. A heartfelt emotional story of two lonely souls searching for meaning, featuring a bi awakening, grumpy sunshine opposites attract, an age gap, and a main character with a disability. I'm totally on board with this novel, and I'm happy to have gotten it because this was a to be read planned for me. So this was already on my TBR, which actually gets me into the thing that I don't like, is this is book 2. This is a book 2 in a series, and this is something that Baddies does that I do not like. So this is their sub. This was not a book that I bought outside of their sub. This is their monthly sub, and this is book 2. So yes, they did do book 1 in this series, but months ago, like I want to say like a year ago, if not longer. But for anyone who just started the sub, they don't have book 1. So now they have a series that they can never complete because Baddies does not offer book 1 ever again. And that's what I don't like. So it would be very different if they had, a book 2, book 3, book 4, whatever in their monthly box, as long as you could still purchase the rest of the series to match. Because if you weren't subscribed from the beginning, which I sure as shit wasn't, you're not going to have the full set. So this is also happening, I guess, in a few months. There was another book announced that is a book 2 in a series. They did book 1 years ago, and I was not a subscriber. So I have no way of ever getting the Baddies matching edition of book 1 for my book 2 that's eventually coming. And that is something I really don't like that they do. All the other book boxes that I've ever dealt with have only ever done a book 1 in a series in their monthly subscription box. And then the rest of the series is an add-on that you can pay outside of the subscription. And I prefer that model versus this. I understand that this is a series that every single book is a standalone. So it has nothing to do with the other characters in the other books. Cool, that's fine. But I like having a matching set. So again, this is a book 2. The series is Water, Air, Earth, and Fire. As mentioned, I did already have book 1, so book 2 was on my TBR. So I am happy to have this, but I don't really care for how they do it with having the book in the monthly sub versus having it on the add-on. But moving on, let us take a look at our cover. And like I said, we got a nice butt. We have our back and it says, "Don't call me baby. Would you prefer daddy?" We do have stenciled edges, and again, this is what I kind of mean, that I don't always think that their special editions are the best designed, but these are contemporary dark romance books. It's really hard to kind of come up with designs for them. So I have to give some Baddies some credit there. If you're not into characters on your cover, they do have a true reverse dust jacket. And it says, "You're his home. No one else has ever wanted him like that. You make sure he knows you're not going anywhere." We have a fabric hardcover case, which that is something I do like. It does make the book slightly different, but yeah, they're always usually fabric. We have designed end papers. It is signed by the author and has a matching ribbon bookmark. So what was the ill that Baddies book box did when I opened this box? They sent this. And it says, "A few adventurous paragraphs in last month's copy of Dance with the Devil by Amanda Richardson took a detour on their way to page 45. This overlay contains the missing words." They had a misprint in one of their books that came out last month. And instead of reprinting the books, they gave us a page overlay to fix it. The reason why that's kind of a turnoff for me, and maybe I'm being a picky bitch, which is entirely possible, if a product's broken, they need to replace it. That's how I feel. If I pay for a product and that product is defective in any way, I expect it to be replaced. I'm not really happy that they kind of were just like, oh, here's a page overlay. I have a book that has a misprint. However, will this overlay fix it? Sure, but if I ever lose this overlay, what then? Don't really like when book companies do stuff like this, because I'm like, part of me feels a little guilty. Like, am I just being picky? It's one page. Is it really that big of a deal? In the grand scheme of things in the world, no, it's not that big of a deal. However, I paid money for a product and I expect that product to be as designed. I made a huge deal when Owl Crate had their policy that I didn't even know about until it happened to me, where if the book was bound upside down, they didn't replace it. Like, they were just like, well, the book's still readable if you just flip it upside down. I'm like, no, that's not good enough for me. I paid for a product and I expect it to look a certain way. I understand that special editions, they can change the colors, they can change the design of the book, but the book should still be bound the correct way, have correct wording, so on and so forth. Like, if you want to change how the special designs look, fine, but it still needs to be good quality. So that's my soapbox. I'm sorry to go on that complaint. I was just really turned off by this. And then I feel like they sent this as like a so sorry. They gave us a bookmark that is so plain Jane. It's literally this, and it says, "Let me pause right here." So blah. So that is not a good apology gift. Anywho, on to our next book, which is Skeletons of Society by Marie Maravilla. To survive in the Los Muertos, you have to stay useful, especially if you're a woman. I made sure I couldn't be replaced. Now they whisper my name in the shadows. Brujita de los Muertos, the kingpin's right hand. They raised me, saved me, and I repay that debt with loyalty soaked in blood. It's why I've earned the right to run everything in Tuscan, including our newest business deal with the Skeletons of Society MC. Too bad that comes with being forced to work alongside the broody, infuriating Sergeant-at-Arms. A partner I had never asked for, never wanted. Yet Gunnar doesn't flinch at my darkness, he fuels it. And against my better judgment, I find myself falling for the man who makes me believe someone could love my sharp edges. But I forget that lies and deceit are the lifeblood of this toxic paradise, and there are plays being made in the shadows. In the end, my hands were always destined to be drenched in the blood of guilty men. It is a dark romance, and while I'm like, gangs and motorcycle gangs, like, do I care? I say I don't care, and then I get wrapped up in it every single time. So I'm hoping Skeletons of Society is going to be the same experience for me, that I'm going to be like, mafia, motorcycle gangs, who cares? And then I'm just going to be like fully invested. It's like Sons of Anarchy, right? You know, where you're just like, oh, okay, like, wait a second, okay. And then you're just like, I need to know everything. I need to be involved. So I'm not thrilled about this cover. I don't hate it, don't particularly love it. This is done by, I believe, their in-house artist, because I've seen this type of artwork multiple times with them, so I'm assuming it's their in-house artist. One of the reasons why I really like Bookish Box and Owl Crate is because they use different artists, and I do appreciate that. Sometimes I just want to see someone else's artwork, and I'm kind of over this person's artwork. Not that it's bad. It's not bad at all. It's just I have a lot of books with this art style, and I'm like, okay, can we do someone else's? And on the back side, it says, that's a woman who doesn't need a man to stand in front of her. She needs one who knows when to stand beside her, behind her, or kneel in front of her. I will say, while I'm not crazy about, you know, the character art, I do actually really like the background. I like the color scheme. And then, of course, the roses. We do also have stenciled edges, which are cute, nothing crazy special. And again, as I mentioned, it's probably hard to come up with designs for contemporary romance books. We also have a reverse dust jacket if you don't like the character art. While I'm not crazy about the art style, I do really like the roses and the color scheme, especially more so than this back side. And it says on the reverse dust jacket, our hardened hearts be only for those we felt needed caring for. And we didn't blink an eye when violence was required to punish those who deserved it. I agree with that. And I stand corrected. This is not a fabric cover. I usually always have fabric covers with Baddies, but this one is not a fabric cover at all. It is a hardcover, but it's got a little different texture to it, but it's definitely not fabric. I do like the skeleton motif, and I really like the skeleton hand with the heart here, and it says, seemed she liked me violent. Noted. You know, I like these dark romance, and a lot of times they have violence and blood play quite often. I faint from the sight of blood. Like, I could never even exist in these novels because I'd be like on the floor freaking out because a little bit of blood got spilled. We have designed end papers, which I actually really like. I think this design is super cool. It's simple to the point, but I really like the details of making like the gun and the skulls look like they were stitched. It is signed by the author. We have a design on the beginning of each chapter, which I love when they do this. The image is different depending on whose point of view the chapter is. And then, of course, we have our matching ribbon bookmark. So that is it for our February 2026 Mixed Up Baddies book box. As always, if you enjoyed this unboxing, please be sure to give me a like, subscribe for more bookish fun. We have a lot of book unboxings to do together. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on these books, on their designs. Thank you all so much for being here. Please keep the Iranian people in your hearts and prayers, especially tomorrow is Persian New Year. It's Nowruz, so Nowruz Mubarak to those who celebrate Persian New Year, like my family does, since my mom's side of the family is from Iran. Just as a reminder, again, no pressure. I do have a GoFundMe for myself and for my cat Kirby. Take care, everyone, and enjoy your first day of spring tomorrow.